Uber had their IPO today, and it wasn't pretty. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, Mark here from Uber Hints. This is going to be a shorter video, but boy, we're going to pack a lot of stuff into it. Two major events. Number one, what happened as a result of Wednesday's strike? And number two, Uber's IPO, it was today. What did it look like? Well, let's start by reading a little something out of Yahoo Finance. Uber officially began trading on Friday, that's today, on the New York Stock Exchange, but stumbled out of the gate as its stock dropped below its $45 initial public offering price. Not only did it drop below, it dropped below significantly, all the way down to $42. In Uber's first test of whether it can transition from Silicon Valley unicorn to a publicly traded company while winning over a skeptical, volatile market, the stock, which priced at $45, gradually drifted lower from the $46 to $48 indicated range prior to the open. In its first trade, Uber hit the market at $42 per share on the New York Stock Exchange. What does that mean? I don't know. It could mean any number of things. Maybe it can mean that you can buy in on a stock at a real low rate. Maybe it means that there's no confidence. Maybe it means that Uber is just not going to be successful as a publicly traded stock. Maybe it means nothing. I am not a stock market analyst. I don't know a lot about what this means, but I know that they've been projecting this to be really high. Remember, they're talking in numbers at $120 billion value, and they're talking $55 to $58 per share, and it's been dropping. When prices drop, to me, that doesn't show a lot of confidence, right? So I don't know what this means from an investor standpoint, but just public opinion, to me, that says that, yeah, they don't think that Uber is a real safe bet. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm not an investment guy, but those of you who might follow this a little more closely, let me know what you think. Leave your message down below. And on a related note, semi-related, what did Wednesday's strike do? Did it have any impact? Was it one of the things that maybe had people look at Uber and say, yikes, are they having problems? Could that have been one of the things that brought the value down? I don't know. I can tell you this, it seemed to be a pretty dismal strike. When I was looking around on the media, and personally I didn't see anything going on in my city of Milwaukee, or I would have been out there covering it, but I couldn't even have anyone contact me and say what was going on. So I have no idea. I did drive by the Uber hub, nothing. And when I was looking on the news, I saw people had banners and signs around the Bull. There were like 12 to 18 people. This is New York City. There are millions and millions of people that live there. And what, a dozen of you showed up? It didn't look good. I saw a couple of the Uber tubers were out in LA. It looked like there were more people out there still. In the big picture, I didn't hear many disruptions. I didn't hear many surges as a result of this out of the ordinary. We were doing a live stream and people were reporting back to me, many of you, saying, yeah, there's still 110 people in the queue at our airport. There's 80 people in the queue at our airport. So I really don't think that it was much of a success, other than, as The Verge reported, and I understand The Verge is really super biased, but they said that the strike did allow some of the drivers to take control of the narrative. And I agree with that, because all the news we were hearing was from the driver perspective, of how little they're getting paid and all of the problems and issues. So was it effective? Well, not in terms of what you consider to be a strike, because such a minuscule percentage of the driver population took part. However, they did a pretty good job of getting the news media to pay attention and to kind of straighten up and take notice. So that's something. Will it have an impact? I don't know. Time will tell. These things snowball. I think you can't stop with one or two. You got to hit one after the other, and I don't know if the drivers have the energy for that. because drivers are in this to make a few bucks. They're not in it to, be making public statements and being activists for the most part.
You've got mail.
Now, I do want to address viewer mail here, and some of the responses that I had to a commentary where someone said that it was a professor from NYU, and he said that Uber has to take control. They have to change the driving culture and the way that Americans perceive car ownership, and I said that is going to be an impossible task. And a lot of you took me to task and said, Mark, basically they said, you're an old goat and you don't understand millennials and younger. Yeah, I'm not too sure. And here's why. They were saying that there's not going to be independent car ownership, or that's what they're going to attack, and Uber's going to really have an impact. And I conceded, yeah, in the bigger cities, in the real urban areas, it's happening already. Outside of that, in the suburbs, like where I live, there is no way. And a lot of you said, well, you just don't get it because you're not of that population. The younger people don't want to own cars. It doesn't matter. Where are all these drivers going to come from? Rideshare is essentially a one-on-one relationship. Now, I know they try to get pool and you get 2 or 3 people in your cars or a group, but this is a group of people that would be in one car anyway, right? With the addition of pool, everybody that takes an Uber is essentially one person or one cluster of people, a couple going to dinner or whatever. As Uber grows the way they want to, how in the world are they going to continue one-on-one relationship? Are you going to have half the population using Uber and Lyft and half the population driving for them? It just can't work out. The reason that mass transit works is you have one vehicle, whether it be a bus or a train, carrying many people. There can be dozens of people on a bus. There can be hundreds of people on a train, So it works. When you're talking about one private vehicle, taking 1, 2, 3, 4 people, where are all these drivers and cars going to come from? So it's not just about what do millennials and younger, what's the next generation coming up called? I don't know. But it's not just what do they want. It's can it be practically applied? I don't think so. There's just not enough drivers and cars to fill that desire. When you're in the suburban areas, like I say, in the urban, yeah, there's always, but it's always been that way in the urban areas. People always got around with taxis, buses, subways, trains, rickshaws, whatever. They've always gotten, well, rickshaw's not a good example because that's pretty much one-on-one, isn't it? But the point is, mass transit was just that mass. Uber, Lyft, rideshare is not mass transit. It's individual transit. And that is huge, baby. That is massive. The difference is so big that I can't hardly convey it. Everyone wants to get to work at essentially the same time, between 7 and 9 in the morning. How is all these cars going to take all these people that don't have their own cars? I don't think it's going to happen. So regardless of what people want to do, it's an impractical thing, and I just don't think it can work out financially. But hey, like I always say, I could be wrong. I was once before. So as always, I would love to hear your comments on any of these topics. What do you think happened with the strike, good or bad? What do you think the results of that initial offering say, if anything? And what do you think of the future of rideshare? Is it possible that they can take not only a dent, but a major bite out of vehicle ownership in the future? Oh, another thing. I got to add one more thing before I say goodbye to you, because some of the comments were, well, Mark, this isn't just a short-term thing. It's a long-term thing. It's going to take a generation for this change to happen. Is Uber going to be able to hold out, an unprofitable company, a generation? Oh, that might be the most profound question I asked this entire video. I'd love to hear from you as always. Please like and share the videos. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring the bell icon. Leave your comments down below. I'm Mark with Uber Hands.